Where it was not consensual was when Andrew Tate was strangling this chick and she thought she was going to die.
That's the reasoning behind like why some girls don't like it, because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys actually accidentally, how funny is that? Actually accidentally kill their girlfriends during a sex because they were choking them that hard.
The Tate brothers were arrested almost 2 weeks ago in Miami on the request of an extradition by the UK so they can face some piled on charges. What are those charges? Now, if you're anybody like me, you have been watching the brothers and you've been watching the case and the things that have come out of the investigation in Romania. And this is something that you've been waiting on for a long time. I am no stranger to calling out the Tate brothers, and I do understand that they have somehow self-placed themselves under the conservative tent, the conservative sphere, and regardless of whatever political affiliation that they reside with, I still feel that it's important to call out what's wrong. And if you have people under your same tent that are doing wrong, and you're instead sugarcoating it or defending it, I think that our moral compass is completely screwed up. And so I have been very outspoken against the brothers, even against people that seem to be under the Trump administration. And I'm a supporter of the Trump administration. But there were particular people that were just blindly supporting the brothers, that were, buddying up with certain law firms and stuff like that. There are videos on my channel about that. But anyway, that's besides the point. I have been waiting for this particular day where the brothers seem to be facing some form of justice. So they're awaiting their extradition. And I'm just going to kind of go through the documentation of what's being alleged against each respective brother, Andrew and Tristan Tate. And then I'm going to actually show you some content that is self-produced by them, some documentation that has been part of a different investigation, not the UK investigation, but it is still very likely. The allegations that are being made, the details are very, very similar. And then there is another piece of content that comes out of the Tate sphere that concerns me. And although I will preface the end of this video and say, I have no proof other than what I'm going to show you, but I will preface and say that I believe that the Tate brothers were into probably something a little bit more darker than what the public is, I'm sorry, that the media is actually showing us, because they're under investigation for human trafficking. Now, this is what the Crown Prosecution Service has piled on as far as charges. It says the Crown Prosecution Service has decided to bring further charges against the brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate, and related to 4 further victims. The CPS has decided to prosecute Andrew Tate with 7 further counts of R-wording, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses relating to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. And see, this is what I mean. Like, let me just pause here. You have people on social media, more so, I'd say like X. I spend a lot more time on X, which is formerly known as Twitter nowadays, than anything, because you can just see real live conversations happening and opinions, and you can actually, opine on them instantly. I am disgusted. With talking heads and personalities that, again, avidly defend the Tate brothers or any other personality that ironically will chant Epstein files, but then it's like you have somebody here who has produced CSAM, or at least is alleged to have produced CSAM, and in order for them to allege that, charge them for it, there has to be some sort of evidence, okay? And again, the Tate brothers were not very smart about concealing what they were doing or the tactics that they would employ, okay? So this is not anything that is unbelievable. They put this out themselves. 19 charges. Now, this is a mixture. It's bundled up with indecent images of children, like they produced indecent images of children and extreme pornography. So I don't know if the extreme pornography portion is, conjoined with the indecent images, just to be fair. So it could be that there were 10 indecent images and then 9 counts of the extreme pornography. Now, the extreme pornography, if you go and look up their definition of extreme pornography, this is like any harm that has been employed onto the victim, such as our wording, such as choking, things like that. And I understand there's going to be people out there that are going to say, well, there's people that are into like the BDSM and, the rough kind of pornography and stuff like that. And here's the thing. From what I've seen with what the Tates have produced, I think that they're more sadistic than anything. Okay, I don't think that this is something that we should normalize. The way that they are rough handling females, minors, as we're gonna find out in just a minute. This is nothing that should be normalized. Their behavior is disgusting. Okay. So let's go through Andrew Tate's docket first. And this list on the front page is basically reminding that, hey, we have a treaty. Hey, we're the UK. Hey, United States, we have a treaty. We're requesting the extradition of this particular individual, Andrew Tate. And then it kicks off at number 5. According to the information the government of the United Kingdom has provided, Andrew Tate is accused of our wording in violation of Section 1, a Sexual Offenses Act of 2003, and assault occasioning bodily harm in violation of Section 47 of the Offenses Against a Person Act of 1861. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little bigger on my end so I can read it a little better. Here we go. These offenses were committed within the jurisdiction of the United Kingdom on January 19, 2024. Senior District Judge Paul Goldspring of the Westminster Magistrates Court signed warrant for Andrew Tate's arrest. The warrant remains valid and enforceable. Based on its investigation, the UK alleges the following facts in support of its arrest warrant and provisional arrest request. So here it is. For Andrew Tate, at the time of the alleged criminal conduct, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate ran an operation where females were referred to as cam girls, okay? At least some of the online content was performed in Romania. Now, let's pause there. So there is also self-professing content that Andrew Tate has, if he hasn't self-produced it, it was part of a public podcast conversation that he has agreed to make public. One of these conversations that he had, he was talking about his PhD program, the Pimp and Host degree program, where he basically teaches people, men, how to do this, conduct a business, utilizing cam girls, tricking them, frauding them, coercing them. Those are all things that are related to human trafficking. So this is nothing that is manipulated. This is stuff that he has said himself. And so the cam girls are not just like what he said. Like he said that I was helping people with TikToks. That's not what he was doing. He was actually producing a whole business model where you exploit women and girls on camera and pretends like you're going to have a relationship, which is the lover boy method. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. According to the information provided by complainant A, she was working in the webcam business in early 2015 when she arranged to meet with Tate at her home in Bedford, England. On an unspecified date between January and March 2015, Tate went to complainant A's home. While at complainant A's home, Tate, without consent, put his arm around her neck and placed her in a chokehold, which prevented her from breathing and caused her to lose consciousness. Over the course of the next several hours, Andrew Tate repeatedly placed complainant A in chokehold, releasing the hold only for brief intervals to allow her to breathe, all while, and then it goes into basically he R-worded her without her consent, or, forced himself on her without her consent, which is R-wording. Later the same evening, complainant A and Andrew Tate were in a bedroom when Andrew Tate once again placed complainant A in a chokehold, thus strangling her, while he simultaneously penetrated complainant A, and did the same thing, forced himself on her. According to the information complainant A provided to UK authorities, she did not consent to Andrew Tate's actions against her. Complainant A provided UK authorities messages that she exchanged with Andrew Tate on a former social media platform, Twitter, now X, around the time of the alleged offenses. Complainant A communicated with Andrew Tate through his Twitter handle, Cobra Tate, which is his present profile today. And notably on July 14, 2026, Tate posted a photogram of him and Tristan Tate in front of the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. from his account. In addition to the allegations presented by complainant A, the UK also seeks extradition for alleged criminal conduct Andrew Tate committed against an unrelated victim, complainant B. Complainant B told authorities that she met Andrew Tate approximately 4 or 5 times. Okay, so let's just preface a little bit here. So complainant A, basically there was no permission given for the intercourse with complainant A. Complainant A is basically saying that they were put in a chokehold and he forced himself on her. Complainant B says that she had consensual relations with Andrew Tate. But here's where it started turning dark. So she met him 4 or 5 times in Luton, England around July 3rd or 4th, 2014. During the intercourse, Andrew Tate choked complainant B, leaving marks on her neck. On a separate occasion between August 31st, 2025 and December 31st, 2025, Tate visited complainant B at her home in Manchester, England. According to complainant B, she and Tate were having intercourse relations, and Andrew Tate choked her to the point where she struggled to breathe. She told authorities that she was afraid that Andrew Tate was going to kill her. The incident left marks on her neck from where Tate had choked her. Complainant B stated that she had not consented to the rough nature of the intercourse. Okay, so several things happening here. So complainant B, first of all, the allegations are listing that, hey, look, at first it was a consensual thing. It was like them having intercourse there was consent given. Where it was not consensual was when Andrew Tate was strangling this chick and she thought she was going to die. Like she had trouble breathing. Okay. Both complainant A and B identified Andrew Tate to UK authorities from social media and television as the person who committed the offenses against them. All right. Now, the rest of this just kind of goes into like the technicalities of the treaty and why, the United States should respect the treaty with the UK. All right. Now I'm going to go through Tristan Tate's docket. And again, it's short, just like the other docket, but nonetheless, very, very important. So here's the cover sheet. Again, it's just kind of listing out why there's a treaty, just reminding the U.S. that there's a treaty. So same charges according to, that there was a violation of Section 1, Sexual Offenses Act of 2003. Let's move forward. Now, complainant reported to UK authorities that on multiple occasions between April 1st, 2012 and December 26, 2013, Tristan Tate, with whom she was in a long-term romantic relationship, R-worded her both ways down there. Okay. Assaulted her to the point of physical injury at his apartment in Luton, England. Complainant told the authorities that using this specified time period, Tate regularly choked complainant to the point where she was unconscious and simultaneously, would again R-word her in the two different areas down there. After she would lose consciousness, Tristan Tate would forcefully slap complainant's face to wake her up, and upon awakening, complainant would find that Tristan Tate was penetrating her behind with his, Complainant conveyed that she made it clear to Tristan she did not consent to being penetrated that way while unconscious. Nonetheless, according to her, Tristan repeated this behavior multiple times over the course of more than a year and a half. Complainant also notified authorities that during one of these instances, Tristan Tate struck her in the face, causing a black eye. She further stated that she sustained marks on her skin from being slapped by Tate on other occasions. Complainant further alleged that during this same time period, Tate hit her with a belt on multiple occasions, which caused serious bruising and welts on her butt and legs. Complainant told authorities that when Tristan Tate hit her with a belt, she would scream for him to stop, but he often would not stop. Complainant reported an additional incident of non-consensual intercourse with Tristan Tate. She said took place on about December 24th, 2012. On that day, Tristan Tate picked up complainant from the train station, drove her to his mother's house in Luton, England. After arriving at the home, Tristan Tate pushed the complainant on a mattress, pinned her down, and basically R-worded her with no consent. Tristan Tate simultaneously used his hand to hit and grab onto complainant's butt approximately 5 or 6 times, causing bruising. According to the UK authorities, complainant did not have a choice to consent, and she reported that Tate did not check whether she consented. Okay. Complainant identified Tristan Tate as the person who committed these offenses based on her long-standing relationship with him. She also told authorities that she could identify Tristan Tate from television and social media. All right. The rest of this, once again, is just a reminder, all the technicalities of the treaty. So, all right. Those are the charges. Now, again, the piled on charges for the Tates are pretty significant as well. We are not a stranger to knowing that the brothers like to go after the younger girls, meaning that they are minors. And there are even conversations extrapolated from devices that I'm going to show you. Now, I know that this was focused on both brothers, although we have seen content of Andrew Tate, and I'm not going to play this. This is not a video. This is just a screen still, but this is the now infamous video that has been going around social media proving our point that, that this particular, I'm going to call her a victim, because even though she has made videos out there that, she wasn't abused and all these things, the victim is alleged to be 15 years old in this video. 15. Could you imagine? Like, if you had a daughter, could you imagine? And so this is Andrew Tate in 2012, where, he's beating the ever-living daylights out of her with a belt. And she is under submission, in this video. And once again, it's alleged that she's 15 years old. She couldn't consent to something like this. This is not something that a 15-year-old can consent to. So again, for people on social media that defend this behavior, I have a lot more questions on ethics, on who those people are, than at least Andrew Tate, he's confessed to stuff like this on video, like that this is a form of power, essentially, as I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, this is a dynamic that he's displayed over and over again. Okay, so that is one still. Now, this is from the Romanian case. Okay, this is from DICOT. So this is one of the youngest victims of the Tate brothers. This is in the investigation in Romania. And I just want to show you guys the, again, likely details that are very similar to what is listed in the extradition request, the complaints and the complainants that they have listed in the extradition request to the United States from the UK. Now, this is in Romania. This is from the Romanian case. It says, this is from the 15. It says here, in this case, there is reasonable suspicion that the defendant had sexual intercourse with a minor person, aged only 15 years old. The effects of these sexual abuses still being felt in the victim's psyche, aspects that result from the conversation of the named blank with a lady on June 2024. So this is the 15-year-old having a conversation with a lady. And so I believe this was turned over to the authorities. So this is a conversation between the 15-year-old and the lady. She says, "You take her so young, you fool her and make her your slave? F you. In any way, think about it, bro. When I was little, I had sex with him. God, he put his D in my backside and I was telling him to stop." Well, that's what I'm saying. What I already have many regrets and I can't anymore. He choked me. When I was little, once, I fainted. He slapped me twice. And I came to, when it was one of those things, I don't know what, just like that, one of these, okay? So the way that I read that is this child victim is reflecting on the abuse that was done to her. And it's like, this is a power dynamic, right? This is like a full grown man on a little 15-year-old girl. And it's like, he's just manhandling her, this minor, this child, and he raped her and he manhandled her in such a violent way. And it's like, all this is happening so fast. It's like, even when you don't even have a chance to consent, that's how I read this. Now it says here at the bottom, according to the order, the 15-year-old victim, Andrew Tate, is alleged to have sexually abused, was named blank, and is quoted. Also, I specify that when we had sex, Andrew was often aggressive with me in the sense that he beat me with a belt, choked me. It happened that once he choked me until I fainted, circumstances in which he woke me up by slapping me in the face. Okay, completely different investigation, completely different time. And what seems to be like a completely different part of the world. Okay, same thing. And it seems to be that the brothers share these tactics, right, of beating with the belt. Now, with Tristan Tate, there's no footage of him doing that because Andrew Tate has footage, not Tristan Tate. But Tristan Tate is alleged to have beaten victims with the belt, to have R-worded them. They were given no consent, and not just that, just forcing themselves on these victims. Okay, so this is a 15-year-old girl reciting the same similar details that we've seen in the complaint. Okay, this is also an extrapolation from their phone devices. This is from Tate. This is the Romanian case that's being investigated. So this is Tristan Tate saying, "Both of you go, get her out of the house. Hit her if you have to, I don't care. Don't let her take things." And then Luana, who is one of the, I think like at one point she's dubbed as like an accomplice, but also a victim. So I want to be fair about that. I'm not quite sure what she's classified at this very moment right now, but right here, he's talking to Luana, which, by the way, Luana has appeared on videos on social media. You see these propaganda accounts that are like, look at Tristan and Andrew Tate, look at the Tate brothers victims. They're coming out with videos saying that, they're not victims and they're victims of the system, being classified as victims. This is one of the chicks, Luana. So Luana says, "Thanks, okay." And then Tristan Tate says, "When you kick her out, keep her stuff in Georgiana's car so Yasmina can't give it to her if she comes later." throw her out of the house with nothing. Georgiana, you've seen me do this 10 times. Go and do it now. Both. Okay, these are extrapolated conversations from his phone. Basically ordering violence, be violent with this victim. You've seen me do this 10 times. Okay, and then Georgiana saying, we're on it. Tristan says, are you on your way? Now I'm getting ready. Okay. So they're talking about something else. You take the money immediately. She's a B, and I will take over the account. And then at the bottom, it says, Georgiana says, yesterday on her Facebook account, I posted some goodies. So blackmail, okay? Or some form of control, at least. All right? So again, we've just seen now similar details come out of a completely different investigation from a different country, from a 15-year-old who says, hey, he, choked me until I went unconscious. He forced himself on me. Now you see an extrapolated phone conversation from Tristan Tate's phone ordering violence against trafficking victims. All right. And then this is more accomplice work, but at the order of Tristan Tate, which again, we don't see the self-produced content of him beating on women, but this is in the investigation. This is stuff that they have devised out of their own devices and conversations. So the act of the defendant, Tristan Tate, who on October 28, 2021, instigated the defendant, Nigel Georgiana, as well as the defendant, Radu Luana, to exercise acts. So these are the same two chicks that were just in that phone conversation, that text messaging conversation, to exercise acts of physical violence against the injured person, redacted, in the context in which, on the same day, while being inside the villa located on blank, the American Village complex, which is in Romania, Voluntary City, County of Voluntary, Romania, being instigated by the defendant Tristan Tate, the defendant Georgiana, exercise acts of physical violence against the injured person, redacted, consisting of aggression to the neck, pushing the injured person under an object of furniture, and aggression to the body by pulling her hand with the aim of causing bodily harm, consisting of opening of a breast implant operation, meets the constitutive elements of the offense of instigating an assault or other violence. Okay, so what she was doing was, like, she was pulling this trafficking victim who just got breast implants. She was like pulling her hand to cause the stitches around the implant insertion to basically rip. Okay. At the direction of Tristan Tate. Okay, so again, just more and more violence. I've just got just a couple more things to show you here. Okay, this is one of the victims. Again, this is from the Romanian investigation. When I came here, you told me I could stay for a month and I could move. My only problem is my parents. I don't understand why I'm being threatened that if I leave, they will send videos of me. So basically, the Tate crew, were blackmailing this victim. I haven't met anyone. Only with my parents, I met a boy who gave me information about the video that was bought. That's all. Tristan Tate says, no, you lie. Okay, won't you stop lying? Of course I do. We'll do things the more difficult way. Luana then says, I gave this girl my clothes, an object, sexual object, and money, so I can't imagine she could do this to me seriously. This is the first of the girls that I will beat. So in the next video, this is probably another video that you've seen circulated on social media as well. But this is Andrew Tate. And again, these are just, it seems like shared tactics amongst the brothers of beating and intimidating victims. There's a first part of the video that I'm not going to show you. And let me add this to stage. It's going to be a very quick clip because I trimmed it down, but the beginning of this video is basically Tristan Tate. Not Tristan, I'm sorry. The beginning of this video is of Andrew Tate basically teasing one of his victims. She's in her underwear and he is asking her to show the camera all of her bruises that is insinuated that he has caused on her. And so she's in her underwear, she's turning around, showing all the bruises on her butt, on her thighs, things like that. And then he turns around and he heads towards his duffel bag, and this is where the clip starts.
An idea. What my idea is? You know what my idea is? After I locked the door, you knew I was going to beat the out of you. If you behaved, I wouldn't have to hit you, would I? You don't. Get out. You can't stay in there forever.
You can see here like the very violent nature of Andrew Tate, like grabbing the belt with no hesitation whatsoever. The victim obviously knows what's coming to her if she doesn't get out of the way and get to safety, which you can hear her heels walking away into the bathroom and locking herself into the bathroom. Okay, this is distressing stuff. Now, I'm going to now get to the point where I'm going to insinuate something that I think might have happened that might be darker. Now, this is Vivian. What you're going to see here is Vivian.
That's the reasoning.
Now, this is thought to be the woman in the first. It wasn't even a clip because I wasn't going to show you. I wasn't going to show you any of this because it's pretty bad. You know, he's beating on her. She's like crying. Like, this is bad. This is sadistic. This is a snuff video. I'm sorry. This is a snuff video. It is believed to be that this is her when she was 15. So this is her. Now, what she's about to say, maybe I'll play the clip and I'll give you some of my commentary and thoughts on this. But after everything that we have read, all of the complaints, all of the insinuations, all of the self-produced content, I'm just going to plug this at the end. This is one of Tate's cam girls for many years. Apparently, she's been working with him since, or at least in a relationship with Andrew Tate since she was like 15 years old. Self-professed by Andrew Tate, you know. Let's take a listen to what she has to hear, and it is dark.
That's the reasoning behind like why some girls don't like it, because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys actually accidentally, how funny is that? Actually accidentally kill their girlfriends during the sex because they were choking them that hard.
Okay. Now, this is all based on in Romania, like the cam girls and, you know, this particular victim based in Romania. I don't know, and it is known that the Tates had some sort of relations with the mafia in Romania and the casino industry, things like this. I don't know. Like, that's documented stuff too. They were running a scheme with the mafia. They had relations with the mafia. All that to speculate, and I want to be clear that I am heavily speculating here. This is nothing that is based in facts, what I am about to say, but I just wonder if there were some darker things that have happened in this environment where the Tate brothers were choking the daylights out of their victims. Now, that's also to say, like, to play devil's advocate, like, who knows, like, what Vivian has been around. She's probably been around more groups than the Tate brothers. Maybe she was part of, like, the adult industry, you know, outside of the Tate brothers. Who knows? But from what we've read and what has been complained about the brothers and how extreme they are, it just makes me wonder. It just makes me wonder how much darker this could all be. I don't know. So that's the video, guys. The Tate brothers are under extradition requests. They're under custody. I'm so glad. I think that they're a danger to society. I think they're a danger to the socialization environments, our modern day social environments. So I think that justice is due. It's about time. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.